Can you tell me a little bit about why, or what the value is, what you think the value is for open conversations and creating these open spaces for conversation?
Well, I think you have to have open spaces first. I think you have to have, sort of warm, welcoming places that people can gather. The open conversation part is a little bit more difficult because you have to do things first that build people's trust, and you have to act with integrity, and I think you have to do very simple things too. I think you have to, prepare a meal together, or break bread together, or have a drink together, and talk about some simple things first, because if you talk about simple things, you sort of get a feel for the way the other people will react. But I think that you gradually have to go deeper or go wider, or however you want to describe it, and start to deal with more issues. Because sooner or later something's going to happen that will test, the openness of things. I'll go back to what happened here, when this gallery was true art, right? And it was broken in, and the media sort of descended on it and made a big deal out of it. But that event really provoked a lot of very difficult conversations, as well as the gallery closing here and other people sort of stepping up and saying, "Now wait a second, we don't want the sort of energy and buzz to be negated by the fact that this one incident happened, because there's a lot of good things going on, and if it gets spun the other way." Right? If it gets spun to like, yeah, Collinwood is just this crime-ridden neighborhood and there's drug dealers on every corner, and I mean that's not the experience that we have, so it definitely shouldn't be the perception. And that's, I think, where the sort of key to open conversations is how do you have the relationships, and do you have the social capital to be able to deal with these sort of things when it happens? And I think part of the problem is there's a lot of people who haven't sort of made that investment in their community, so that when something happens, they can't have an open, frank communication with people.
So you'd say that's the value for people contributing or participating or experiencing?
Well, I would go so far as to say that it's the value of people sustaining that sort of open conversation, because I think that unless you sort of endure and these conversations take place over time, and we keep revisiting the ideas, or thinking ahead a little bit and then coming back and sort of rehashing stuff that we talked about, I think that that's where the rich learning takes place around those conversations, and I think that's the thing that that drives me the most, is the understanding that we can co-create around some of these matters.